placement. Oh, it's a little better, I guess. Hello, everybody. I'm still getting my bearings. Just give me some time. So day 2 of ADHD medication is going better than day 1, but it's a struggle. I feel like I've gone back into peak ADHD Avery. So we're going through some stuff. I also am having like an allergic reaction on my face to something because I'm breaking out like effing crazy. So that's really fun. Life just be lifing over here, y'all. Okay. So I'm putting the topic in the depiction underneath my name, and then I'm also going to add it to the chat and pin it to the profile. I feel that. You're breaking out terribly too right now. I've been eating more refined sugar than I normally do, and I'm like convinced that's partly why. Because refined sugar will make you break out. Like there's no avoiding that. Just a fun little fact here. But then all right. Your hair looks so good. Thank you. I'm having a bit of a bad hair day, but I appreciate that. I'm like having a hard time adjusting to it. So there's been like moments where I'm like, do I actually like this? But I think that's really normal. So, anywho, today we're going to be looking into what part of myself needs acknowledgement. That topic came to me right when I sat down to do today's stream. So, please hold. I forgot to put on my glasses. See, I'm telling y'all, day 2 ADHD Avery, day 2 ADHD medicated Avery is just like young Avery was without medication. I don't like it. I don't like it. Please tell me that this gets better. Somebody please tell me this gets better. Because so far not enjoying. Okay. So, if I could keep my focus for 5 seconds, that would be really fucking awesome. Y'all, I'm sick of it. I've only been on medication for 2 days. This is literally why I avoided going on them. Because I felt like I was gonna not be myself. Is that okay lighting? Yeah, I guess. Alright, so I'm gonna show y'all the decks. It made you depressed at first, and it blunted my personality. So far that hasn't happened, thankfully. I am on extended release, yeah. It takes a few weeks, yeah, I kind of figured. I have noticed, like, I am calmer, but I'm also noticing, like, things about myself that, like, example, I'm rushing when I don't typically do that in my waking life. I'm having a harder time staying on task, which ultimately, like, my mask self was really good at, but it's exhausting to have to do that 24/7. I'm just, I know they'll regulate. Because yesterday I was out for the count. Like yesterday was a complete write off. I also didn't physically feel great, because of the medication, of course. And then today I took the meds and did not have nearly the exact same reaction as like yesterday was completely different than today. I have a really low dose right now, and I don't intend on going higher unless I absolutely have to, but I do have like a follow up with my doctor at the 8-week marker so that like we can sit down and talk about how it's doing, if we need to change anything. But if I'm still this scattered a week and a half in, I'm probably going to contact her because she did say like call me if you need to. So um you were on a high dose in high school and you started having tics disorders. That does not surprise me. um I'm sorry you went through that. I don't really want to up my dose if I don't have to. I think it's just a matter of me learning how to stay regulated while medicated. It's balance ultimately. All right, so that being said, y'all are gonna have to bear with me today because it's been a little bit more challenging for me to stay on task than normal. I know this will level itself out. I'm just asking y'all to have some patience with me. So today we are going to be looking into one more time. What part of myself needs acknowledgement? It's pinned at the top of the chat. It's on my depiction. This is what we're looking into. Before we hop into today's reading, I want to mention, as always, first and foremost, thank you guys for your support. I love you all deeply. If you have an Amazon Prime membership, you actually can subscribe through your Amazon Prime and you don't have to pay the subscription fee. You do have to renew that every month, I do believe, but you know. And then additionally, I want to remind y'all that watching the ads and subscribing really does help not only support me and my life, but it helps us to be able to do more content like this moving forward for you guys. So, anyway, I digress. That part's over and out the way. What we're going to be looking into, I was drawn to this deck first and foremost. I saw this in my mind's eye. This is the Moonology. This has like affirmations. They're called attuned to the moons in this particular deck, so I will be giving those to you guys. If you feel like writing them down, you can. If you don't, that's okay too. And then I was drawn to this deck here. I saw this one also in my mind's eye, which is interesting because this is the goddess Santa Morta. I don't know a lot about her, so I would recommend doing your own research. I am not entirely sure if working with her is closed practice, though. So definitely look into that as well. Okay, just be mindful that it could be a closed practice. Anyway, I love the artwork in this particular deck because, like, as a spooky girl who loves horror movies and everything spooky, this really lines with that part of me. Maybe that aligns with you as well. I don't know. But anyway, without further ado, let's look into what part of myself needs acknowledgement. I actually really like this topic idea. Like, as soon as they sent it to me, I was like, ooh. Love that deck. Yeah, I do too. It's beautiful. The imagery is stunning. All right, let's see. What do we have for the collective? Something about a butterfly, which for some reason just made me think of the Butterfly Effect, that like early 2000s movie with unfortunately Ashton Kutcher. There could be something about that, but please remember, like, our brains are going to associate words and things. Like, our brains are constantly looking for patterns. So if you know something that aligns with something, it's going to go to that. Does that make sense? See, the ADHD meds and I are not really liking each other today. I'm just going to be honest. Like, that did not even make sense. That did not even make sense. Just bear with me, y'all. Okay? Basically, your brain is going to associate certain words with things that it recognizes. So just keep that in mind. Surrender to the divine. Something about the really purpley color is pulling me in quite a bit, which is giving crown chakra. I don't know. Something about like a purple moon could be important. Thank you, my love. I think I needed that reminder because I don't like medication. So like being on it, I know is better for my health and I know it's better for me mentally. But like the challenge that I am trying to kind of, it's basically like my values and like what I know I need to do are doing this right now. Because something that I have learned within the last year and a half of my life is sometimes the things that I align with morally or within my values aren't necessarily going to be things that I can practice all the time. And that's just something that I think is human nature. And perhaps I'm sharing this with the collective for a reason, because maybe this is part of the reading itself. because a lot of you are in this period where you're acknowledging parts of yourself, and maybe part of it is that. Maybe part of you is like the example that I'm using, like you could be completely anti AI, but you still use Chat GPT sometimes. And you could be, that could like not sit comfortably with you, but you do it because it makes your life a little bit more convenient. I don't know, take it however it resonates. It doesn't need to be chat, okay? This is just a reference. But I feel like some of y'all are currently in that position where you're recognizing that even though it might not sit well within your heart, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not good for you. Like my medication is a prime example of that, because I do not like meds, but I know that it's better for me. And perhaps it's similar for y'all, whatever you're experiencing. Interesting. So the first card out is Have Faith in Your Dreams. I don't know why, but this is kind of giving me a vibe of like a cover of a journal. Like just a cute little leather bound with a strap around it. I'm seeing like a tiny strap. Some of y'all might see that out and about. I am seeing like Indigo or Chapters or somewhere like that. I know that in America you guys have what's called like Barnes and Nobles. Something about that kind of energy could be important. And then we also have your commitment is being tested. Don't I feel that? Something about how the moon's like peeking out. I don't know why that's really pulling me in, but it is. And the clouds, the way the clouds are parting. Something about paying closer attention to the sky. If you have access to look at the moon at night, I feel like some of you definitely should. And what I mean by access is if you have like a safe space that you can go outside and just connect with nature and the moon, I would really, really encourage that. It looks like a baby in the shadow. I would ask yourself to reflect about that. Perhaps there's new life opening up for you, my love, because I do not see that. But that's okay. We can see things differently. You're meant to see what you're meant to see, and I'm meant to see what I'm meant to see, Again, that didn't make sense, but and then we have a fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. Aries energy could be important for someone. This could be sun, moon, rising, or Venus, or all of the above. All of the above would be a crazy amount of Aries. Interesting. So the first one was waxing crescent moon, and then you have first quarter moon, and then we have full moon in Aries, like I'd mentioned. So we do have a full moon coming up at the end of the month, of course, and that is on the 28th. There could be something about that full moon's energy that Spirit's actually encouraging this collective to kind of like step into or utilize its benefits, is what I just heard. So I'm going to give y'all the affirmations for these. And then I'm actually going to pull from the tarot. The other thing I'm noticing is like the way in which I'm reading is shifting, and I don't know if that's because of the medication or if it's because I'm shifted. Like I notice that I'm more myself than I have been in like literal years, y'all. So I'm noticing like something about me is kind of moving in a new direction, so the way I'm reading is shifting, and I feel like that could be significant for some of you guys as well. Something about flowers. I don't know why I just heard in the sky. Be attuned to the moon with this one. I am focused on what I want. Trusting that things are working out is like really important for this particular collective. So I feel like there could be an element of your shadow that is kind of like not trusting in what you're manifesting. I don't know how else to explain that, but there's this element off this card that's saying like just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't real. So perhaps some of you are in this mindset where you're like, well, I need to see it to believe it. I need to see my manifestations to understand that I'm actually getting it. But Spirit's saying, like, right now is not the time to look at it this way. It's the time to kind of recognize that your commitment is being tested. And that the more you kind of look at this in a bigger picture way, the more you're going to allow things to unfold. It's giving like a need for patience. It's getting a need for understanding that things take time. Things take time to grow and build and manifest, right? There's also a gentle reminder with this card not to look back and to remain focused on what it is that you want to create and moving forward. There could also be something about digging a little bit deeper to find a little bit more courage in the direction that you're trying to go. It's interesting because I'm now realizing these two cards actually follow each other in the guidebook as well. So this one is I am committed to my dreams and move towards them with confidence. Double confirmation. Some of you need to kind of acknowledge that first and foremost, you could be having some self doubt. I don't know why I'm tasting peanuts. You could be having some self doubt surrounding whatever it is you're trying to manifest, whether this is a new job opportunity or a new home or new love or new community, whatever. I feel like there's a part of you that is kind of starting to get into a bit of a lack mindset surrounding this because you don't believe that it's real and you don't believe that it's coming. Not the sun getting brighter as I said that. This is coming from your ego. And honestly, for some of you, it's coming from like a need for instant gratification, which I think is really common. It's a really big societal thing because we're so used to it with social media and shopping nowadays that if it's not instant, sometimes we don't believe it's real, but that's actually not true. Instant gratification comes from dopamine rushes. You know what I'm saying? It comes from, I don't want to say a lack of inauthenticity, but that's kind of what's coming through. Like some of y'all might need to recognize that things that take longer to build, longer to grow, longer to come into fruition are usually more solid. This card is also an omen that there is an answer being yes, but it's not the right time. It's not quite yet. It's giving divine timing. It's giving you're halfway to your goal. It's giving you're almost there, but there's a little bit more you gotta do. Something about putting in a little bit more effort. I am seeing to your physical appearance could be important. I feel like that's going to make you feel better about you. So, like doing your makeup a little bit more or doing your hair on a regular basis. I don't know, dressing more comfortably. That's like not even just more comfortably. I don't know how to explain it. I'm so sorry, y'all. My ADHD and I are not friends today, but dressing in a way that makes you obviously feel comfortable, but also confident. There could just be something about putting a little bit more effort into your appearance. But remember, there is a fine line between putting effort into your appearance and vanity. Finding where that line is. I'm also sensing some of y'all need to realize how badly you want something and be okay with that. For some of you, I personally experienced this from my whole life. I have been one of those people that if I had a lot of hope for something, I would downplay how much I wanted it because I was let down so much as a child. This could be similar for this collective. There could be a part of you that really, really wants something, whether that's a job or a house or, a new energy. Take it however it resonates. But there's something you really desire, but you're downplaying how much you desire it. You're not allowing space for hope in it because this is a like pattern that you learn to protect yourself. And there could be something about needing to kind of acknowledge that piece of you so that you can actually leave space for what this is because it can't come forward if you don't have hope in it. Excuse me, confirmation. Some of y'all might need to recommit to someone or something, maybe even a part of yourself. I just heard. And if we were to look at that through like the lens of Aries energy, this could be your confidence. It could be action. It could be power. Take it however it resonates. But the attune to the moon with this one is be nice, be kind, smile, and be polite as you navigate where you want to be. Hmm. That's also a reminder that like being assertive is a good thing, but don't like bulldoze people. Don't be an asshole. Is clearly the only way I know how to put it. This can also be an indication that you've been a little bit overly sensitive lately. This actually says like don't be a baby. I don't love that, but like even the guidebook says like sorry, but this could be your issue. So some of you might need to kind of recognize where your emotions might be kind of they're showing me like a roller coaster in my mind's eye. So they could be causing you to be a little bit out of whack. This is also an omen that you need to have more fun in your life. It could be time to spice things up or do something that you normally don't do. Do something different. Exciting is what I'm hearing. They're also reminding you that when you're in a tense or an overwhelming situation, the best way through it is meditation. I know that sucks, but especially because we also had that surrender to the divine, right? And then we also, underneath of that, have the answers you need are coming, and don't let your past hold you back. So I feel like things are going to start to work out for you in a really beautiful way, but you have to trust that. And I feel like the biggest takeaway is letting go of whatever is holding on to, like whatever you're holding on to from the past. Sorry. All right. What What do we have, Spirit, for the collective? What part of themselves needs acknowledgement? The collective here on Twitch. I've been channeling this song all freaking morning. I might end up doing a TikTok reading for it, but we shall see. But it's called It Ain't Me by Selena Gomez. Hello. That's how I feel. So we do have the Ten of Swords. Something about a moth to a flame. We have the Knight of Cups. And then we have the World. Something about immaturity could be shifting. I don't know why, but I'm really picking up. And then we also have Ace of Pentacles. Immaturity and jealousy, because this was actually like inverted and I put it upright, but I think it's going to be reversed, y'all. So there's something correlating towards a cycle that you are currently closing out, tying into immaturity issues, jealousy issues. I feel like I need to mention this, but jealousy is a normal emotion. Okay, like I did a video reading recently where we talked about like envious energy, and I didn't love the comment section of that video, mostly because a lot of people are trying to equate jealousy to like an evil energy. That's not true. Jealousy is a normal human emotion. It's no different than anger. It's just looked at in a negative and derogatory light because that's how society has made it out to be. Jealousy is a normal response for a lot of people. Am I saying that jealousy is something you should live in? Absolutely not. But is it something that flares up for each individual person on occasion? For sure, man. Like, that's life. One of the things that I think is really important to remember, and it's, again, it's the same concept with anger, is that it's not about the emotion itself. It's about how you display that emotion. It's about what you do with it moving forward. So if you have a flare up of jealousy, let's say one of your friends is engaged and that makes you jealous because you want to be engaged. Your partner hasn't proposed. That's where you want to go. It's super fucking normal for a person to be like, hey, I'm kind of butthurt about that. Am I really happy for my friend? Absolutely. But I want that for myself. And that's normal human nature. What isn't okay is being in that mindset and then being, well, fuck my friend for being engaged. They don't deserve that. They don't XYZ. It's turning that into a negative. It's like yucking someone's yum. Like, there's literally no other way to word that. Whereas, like, you can have that moment of jealousy and be like, this sucks. I don't like that I'm not there, but I am so fucking happy for you. Because two things can exist at once. And I feel like that's been a mantra lately. But I feel like I need to mention that. I feel like some of you, maybe you're getting into a mindset where you're recognizing different parts of yourself. I don't know, however, to explain that. And jealousy is valid. Like, it's a normal human reaction. It's no different than anger, but society makes both of those emotions out to be evil. And I would argue it's Christianity that does that, but because that's what I mean. Yeah. Like, jealousy is one of those emotions that comes up and we all experience on a daily basis oftentimes because it's human nature to want more for yourself and more for your life. It's just how you handle it, how you process it, that becomes problematic. Repressing it 100% makes it worse, and so many people do that. This is very fitting. You've worked on your jealousy, but it's not the kind where I'm not happy for my friends. Desire certain things. But exactly, but that's also like human nature. You know what I mean? Like, we all feel those things. Like, humans as a basis are selfish. We're self-involved, right? Not saying like each individual one of us has selfish traits, but like we all have that underneath the surface because it's human nature. But not everybody projects that selfishness. Do you know what I'm trying to say there? I don't know if my words are making sense. People who say they never get jealous are absolutely full of it, or they're living in their ego and they're not able to acknowledge themselves. But anyway, I digress. I do really feel like a big cycle is closing for a lot of you. It's interesting because we've been getting a really common theme collectively for like fives, which is like chaos and conflict, and then the tower. And a lot of it has aligned with like stability, financial security, that kind of stuff. So some of you are going through a bit of a transformation when it comes to your wealth, when it comes to abundance, when it comes to your career. I feel like this is more a mindset than anything, but it definitely could align for whatever feels right for you, okay? But the cards that came out are really kind of telling a story here because we also just pulled the Tower with this, okay? So it's almost as though something crumbled, something fell apart, something didn't work according to plan. And I feel like for a lot of you, it's because it needed to bring up some fundamental shit, is literally what they just said, because that's helpful. Thanks so much, Spirit. They're not helping me today either. They're like, you got this, you'll figure it out. And I'm like, like they could throw a dog a bone, you know? Anyway. Um, what's really interesting to me is like the world is such an omen of a completion of a cycle. It's like a full circle moment, if you will, where you start to feel more accomplished, you start to feel more secure, you start to kind of shift into a new chapter. And I feel like that being with this Ten of Swords energy and the Knight of Cups in the reverse and the Tower being here, I feel like a big part of this is a giant cycle of self destruction is closing out. I don't know how else to word that. This could be self sabotage. This could be depression. It could be negative energy. It could be jealousy, like we talked about, maybe in a not so great way, like a vindictive way, I'm hearing. It could be immaturity issues. Take it however it resonates for you. But I feel like it all points back to your sense of structure and stability, either within yourself or your finances. Yeah, it could also definitely align with fear. But I feel like this chapter is closing out because there's something about how, like, on this imagery, she's kind of like looking at this hourglass. I feel like that's what you have been doing. You've been looking at yourself. You've been trusting in the process, trusting in divine timing, and recognizing that in order to close out this cycle and feel like you're on top of the world, you have to acknowledge some shit within you. I said this, I commented this back to someone recently in one of my videos on TikTok, but accountability is how you heal. It sucks. Nobody likes to look at themselves. Nobody likes to see their flaws. But the only way to actually truly become the best version of yourself is to acknowledge the shitty parts of you. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Healing is about learning how to, healing is not about removing your shadow entirely. It's about learning how to walk hand in hand with it. It's about learning how to walk within both your darkness and your light. It's about balance because life is a constant balance. Some of you could also be walking away from something. This could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could even just be a wound. Take it how it resonates, okay? Um, there is sadness in the air, is what I'm hearing. I'm also being really pulled to like the background of the world with the reds here. There could be something, this is definitely tied into your root chakra, babes. Like, I feel like a lot of you have been working really hard towards finding more stability within yourself, finding more sense of safety, stepping into a position of power with like an aligned and healthy root chakra. And I feel like that's what this is correlating towards. Hmm. You'll get there, my love. It just takes time. Also, something about like a acoustic guitar, but like they're showing me um like a light wood color with like a dark wood background. Make that make sense, please. I'm seeing like the front, so like the front face of the guitar is like a lighter wood, but the back and the holding of it is like a dark wood. This is like an old acoustic guitar too. I have no idea. Take that how it resonates, okay? Okay. I also am just going to complain for 5 more seconds about this ADHD process. This is making me feel like I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to reading tarot. Also, I can't think of what this is giving, but it's like a movie or a TV show, some sort of like sci-fi type of ish with like, oh my god, what was that? Rebel Moon. That's what it was called. Something about that movie could be important. It's got Charlie Hunnam in it. big ass crush on him, I do. But there could be something about that movie, which in it there's a pretty big betrayal near the end. And this is what this card indicates. Perhaps some of you are recognizing you trusted someone that you shouldn't have. I'm also seeing something about like solar plexus energy and red roses. So red roses are an omen of sacrifice. And solar plexus energy obviously ties to like your worth and your creativity. So perhaps that's coming back. Honestly, some of y'all could have experienced some sort of a betrayal in the past with someone who was in a bit of a Knight of Cups reversed. And part of what's shifting is like your full circle is what they just showed me. You're coming back into yourself. This could have to do with the Gemini. I just saw that zodiac sign. Um, but I ultimately, like for a lot of you, I actually feel this was past energy. They're showing me like a 2-year cycle, a 4-year cycle, take it however it resonates. So this could have been someone that you were connected to 2 to 4 years ago. And I feel like the tower crumbled in this dynamic a long time ago. And I really feel like something major is shifting within this collective. Maybe you're starting to step back into yourself. Maybe you're starting to let go of a lot of the darkness. And one of the things that's shifting in a really big way within you is you're letting go of, I don't know how else to say this, but Delulu. Okay. So when the Knight of Cups makes an appearance in the reverse position, this is a really big indication to me of an overactive imagination. So that's like Delulu energy. Something about Pisces could be important. I just find Pisces can be a little bit more flighty than the average zodiac sign. No shade to y'all. I love you guys very much, but a lot of the time Pisces tend to see things in more of like a free thinker, intuitive way, and sometimes it's a little bit too far. But I feel like part of this transformation that you're experiencing, part of this cycle that's coming full circle, is actually letting go of that overactive imagination, whether that creates negative self-talk or overthinking, or if it's towards your spiritual path. Take it how it aligns for y'all, because for some of you it's a multitude, but I feel like whatever this overactive imagination was, it would lead you towards deceptive energy. It would lead you towards situations that would kind of ultimately put you in this 10 of swords position, where you would be sad and upset and longing for something deeper, but the rug would be pulled out from under you. And it's interesting that that tower is actually going on top of both the Knight of Cups reversed and the World. So it's even more indication to me that like part of the cycle that's coming like full circle once again correlates towards a pattern when it comes to unrealistic expectations is literally what I just heard. It's like you fell for the potential versus the reality in romantic connections and friendships, in like career path options, like all of the above. You ended up falling into cycles that were not really what they you wanted them to be because you saw them in a light that was a little bit more deceptive. I don't know how else to explain that, but they just keep bringing me back to like the Lulu energy. It's like your ego was calling the shots for a substantial amount of time. And I do feel like for a lot of you, this does kind of tie back to like one particular person, but there could also be something about like a career path or something. I don't know. Take it however it resonates. Once again, these are collective. But I feel like there's something about this transformation that it's like they're showing me a visual of like your feet on the ground, which I've been getting so much today for clients and stuff. It's like you're putting your feet on the ground and recognizing what stability looks like for you, what it means to be aligned with the path that you want and the life that you want to create. And most importantly, what a healthy foundation looks like for you. Because I feel like a lot of you were stuck in these patterns where you were building false foundations that ultimately crumbled because I'm hearing they were rotten. So the tower, in my opinion, gets a really bad reputation because people see it and they're immediately triggered into thinking like their life is going to fall apart. Does that sometimes happen? For sure. But 9 times out of 10, whatever the tower is doing, it's creating destruction of the old. Whether that's old ways of thinking or old relationship patterns or old ideologies, it's allowing space for you to awaken to the truth of yourself. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening for this collective. And as you allow space for this change, as you allow space for this revolution, you are stepping into such a grounded chapter. Like this is literally right before the tower, so I feel like these two cards are going hand in hand with each other. And this isn't spirit saying like you're about to lose everything. This is not spirit saying like your money is going to crumble. This is actually quite the opposite. It's spirit saying like you are shifting into a more grounded, a more concrete, a more practical state of mind. Perhaps for some of you it correlates towards like being a little bit more focused in your journey. I don't know. Something about a cricket. I swear to God, somebody recently told me they found a cricket on their pillow, and I don't know if you're in this live stream, but perhaps that was your message. Um, the Ace of Pentacles is also about like a new financial opportunity. It's about money coming forward. It's about manifestation. It's about abundance. And like sometimes this is in the form of a job opportunity. And I feel like because this is here, there's definitely something really beautiful coming. So, those of you that your career does take a bit of a shift in a negative direction, like if the tower creates like a crumbling, like if you unexpectedly lose your job or your finances start to get really tight, if you get fired, whatever, just know that it's actually removing something to make space for something better. So do not allow it to trigger you. Do not allow it to affect you because something far better will take its place. But if you fall into a cycle of anxiety or overthinking or whatever about it, that's actually going to block whatever this is from coming in. The tower isn't always painful though. Sometimes it's actually quite beautiful because sometimes it's actually seen in a positive light, but because there's so much stigmatism around it being negative, people don't see it that way. Because sometimes the tower comes forward to say, hey, there's like a massive transformation unfolding for you. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be, painful. It just means changes are coming. And it's really about whether or not you're attached to those changes, if that makes sense. So we do have the Page of Swords here. I don't know why, but I always love this imagery, especially because like he's shoving like a sword down his throat. And I don't know why, but it gives off this energy that like some of y'all are blocking your truth. Okay? Like air energy, which swords is, connects to our intellect, our truth, our communication. And I feel like because this is I'm sorry, this is the Knight of Swords. Because this is the Knight of Swords, there's something about how this collective is not being honest about something, and I feel like it's almost like you're stifling your truth. So for some of you, because that's going on top of both the Ace of Pentacles and the Tower, part of whatever could be transforming, part of whatever could be crumbling, is the part of you that is A, impulsive, and B, doesn't speak your truth. Take that how it resonates. This was at the bottom of the deck before, and it's at the bottom of the deck again. That's kind of crazy. This is the Seven of Pentacles. There's something you could be watching and waiting for, because this imagery always gives me that vibe. I also just started hearing an old school country song. Underneath of that, we literally have the Ace of Wands. What is that called? Yeah, I've been watching you, Dad, ain't that cool? I'm your buckaroo, I wanna be like you. I think it's called Watching You, and I want to say it's Rodney Atkins. Yeah, I was right. It's called Watching You, and it's by Rodney Atkins. So there could be a message in that song for someone. Hello. This is so specific, but some of you that lost a fur baby, you're going to feel them brush up on your leg. You're going to feel them energetically, but also physically. No idea. I also feel like there's something about like looking back at this imagery, he's like putting the sword down his own throat. So I honestly feel like part of what this collective could be coming to terms with, like truth wise, is that you've been stifling yourself. Which I'm sure y'all have heard me say this before, but like 9 times out of 10, there's no conspiracy. There's no one out to get you. There's no one that's trying to create tension in your life. That person is usually you. The resistance is usually coming from within. So I feel like some of you could be coming to terms with the reality that like you've been actually standing in the way of your own financial success because you've been blocking yourself from being who you are, from being your authentic you, is what I just heard. Something about skeletons could definitely be important for this collective. I'm also seeing like bones. Like physical bones. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna ask a question that I feel like is gonna get answered very. Actually, no, they're telling me, they're showing me. I was gonna ask y'all if you wanted a love deck, but they're showing me a deck. Y'all, I do not want that one. The way so many karmic cards tried to come out, and I'm like, I don't want it. Okay, so they just showed me my What's the Tea Oracle deck in my mind's eye. Something about, what do they call that? The cat distribution? Okay, this is the deck. Something about the cat distribution. So, like, maybe you're going to stumble across one. Sorry. My partner's reading. So, I'm currently reading Fourth Wing. I'm on the last book. I've been talking about it a lot. I got my partner to read the first one, and he's now reading the second, and I get text updates from him every once in a blue moon. And I just. Anyway. All right, what do we have for the collective? Why did you just show me this deck? What is it? What do they need to know? Can we talk more about that energy from the reading, or is there something they need to acknowledge? There's a stubbornness here. Holy shit. Ooh, somebody is trying to dig up some tea. I don't know why I just saw tea leaf, like a tea leaf reading. Okay, so to be so specific, we're shifting gears pretty drastically. This could align with that energy from the TikTok reading I did recently, where I was talking about someone being envious of y'all. Others of you, not necessarily connected, but somebody's looking for some tea. They're looking for some dirt on you. They're trying to kind of figure out. Honestly, this sounds horrendous, but they want to find out something bad about you so that you can get canceled, especially those of you that have a platform. And if you've been doing well on social media lately, it's pissing somebody right the fuck off. So they're trying to like dig up some dirt on you to kind of expose you. Some of you, it's a job promotion. Like if you were up for a job promotion and you got it, somebody that was like competing for it with you is trying to find out some shit about you to like ruin that. I don't know. Take it how it resonates. Apply it however it's applied, but there is somebody who is pissed that you are succeeding. See, this is the form of jealousy that's not okay. um, the irony is like whatever dirt they're trying to dig up on you, you've already exposed. It's like it's like it's like you're pretty authentic, and I feel like this is a collective of people that's just like, this is who I am, and have I made mistakes in my past? Absolutely. Do I own up to those mistakes? Absolutely. Like, this is a collective of people who are not ashamed or triggered by taking accountability. So I feel like even if this person did expose you in any capacity, one, it's probably something that people already know, and two, you would take accountability for it if it wasn't. And I feel like that's actually what would move you forward in life within whatever this is, like whether this is your career or, you know, your dating life, whatever. um Reality being, though, they're not going to find anything, is what Spirit just said. Like, what they're looking for doesn't exist because this collective has made mistakes in their life. You've definitely done some shitty shit because no one's perfect, like myself included. I've done some real fucked up stuff in my life. I am sure I'm on people's hate list, which is okay because I deserve that for those people. But I feel like the majority of you, whatever you did, wasn't enough for like what they want. Like, it's not enough damage. Does that make sense? It's like it wouldn't cause enough upheaval in your life. Hmm. Also, those of you, this with him, whoever this is, I feel like for some of you it could be an ex, but it doesn't have to be. But whoever this is, they're also trying to affect your sex life. So if your sex drive has kind of gone lately, this is why. We have cock blocking. Like, I don't really believe that baneful magic is going to work on people. 9 times out of 10, I don't believe that. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't protect yourself from it, but I do feel like somebody did some sort of a weird juju, weird spell to either make it so you're impotent or make it so that you don't get wet or you don't get free, you don't get interested in sex. Like there's something about how your sex drive has been deeply affected by some sort of weird energy. Now, for some of you, this is within you. Remember, take it how it resonates. I'm hearing immediately that's about to change. That's about to shift. That is evil. Like, come on. How are you going to block someone from getting it on? Whoever this is real bitter. Yeah, this is why. This is someone who tries to act like they have their shit together. They try to act like they have money. They try to act like this says fake flexing. So this is someone who like acts rich. They act like they have their shit together. They act fancy. They show off what they have. But actually underneath the surface, they're bankrupt and they don't really have anything going for them. Because when you are stuck in a cycle of when you're in that fake flexing cycle, you are in a cycle of materialistic ideals. And when you're materialistic, you oftentimes don't really have a lot going on. We have confused. Right? Like, out of all the things you can affect, why are you affecting someone's sex life? There's something about how, like, this person thinks that your career success ties into your sex life. So, my sex workers, those of you that have OnlyFans or anything like that, this could be part of it. Like, if you have OnlyFans or if you're, like, in that industry, they're trying to affect your sex drive because they're hoping that that's going to stop you from making money. Others of you, there's something about how, like, this person truly believes that, like, part of the reason you get where you are in your life is because of your sexuality. I don't know. Maybe that's true. I personally do believe that like sex and a healed sacral chakra is a really good way to open up our creativity. So perhaps there's part of that. I'm hearing again, this is about to change. It's kind of ironic because whatever this person is throwing your way, it's like the tables again, they're turning, and now they're going to be affected by everything they sent to you. I'm also hearing in tenfold. There's also something about confusion energy. I don't know why, but I just heard Confucius say. What else do we have for the collective here? Yeah, this is somebody who has like a bit of a drinking problem or some sort of substance issue. This is someone who's constantly partying. And it doesn't even need to be like partying with a group of people. This could even be solo parties. This person could be pretty threatened by you, though. I'm also seeing something about vaping. They're showing me like vaping really aggressively. Ultimately, whoever this is, they have really bad addictions and like they're not doing the work on their addictions. And for some reason, they're projecting some hate at you. For a small group of you, if you have addiction issues and this is someone that you used to party with, they are triggered at the fact that you've turned your life around and they can't seem to do the same. Because the unfortunate reality is not everyone is able to overcome their addictions, and that sucks, but it's true. This one card says threatening, intimidating, threatened, and bothered. This person could have tried some intimidation tactics on you. They tried to threaten you. They tried to make you feel threatened. I don't know. They tried to poke you, is all I keep seeing. Remember when you could poke people on Facebook? I don't know why I just saw that. You know this person ain't shit. Like, you're not really worried about it. Like, this could have been something that affected you on a mental level in the past, but, like, you genuinely don't give a shit anymore. This person could be using fake accounts to stalk your social media. I would recommend if you have private socials, you should go through your following. I feel like some of the followers you have on Instagram, I'm also being really pulled to Twitter here, could be fake followers. Take that however it resonates. If you have this person blocked, just know they have multitude of fake pages to watch you. Weirdo energy. Like at what point do you realize that's mental health issues? Like at what point do you realize that like you're actually the problem? Like at what point do you take a step back and go, why am I doing this? Anyway, we have haunted, memories, flashbacks, trauma, side effects. This person is probably haunted by some trauma. Others of you, I feel like that's how they want you. Yeah, like this is a spiritual hater. This person hates on your light. They hate on your power. Most importantly, they hate on your authenticity. This is someone who, like, honestly, those of you that are also in the spiritual community, this could be another spiritual community person. And they are like a power hungry, greedy motherfucker who ultimately doesn't actually have any magic about them. It's like inauthentic is what I keep hearing. And like I firmly believe we all have magical power, but like it depends on what we do to make that, move forward. So like example, ethics are really important to me. I personally feel like I need to align with a certain status of ethics in order to, be secure in my career and in myself. And that's because I've done a lot of work on myself. But there are a lot of people in the spiritual community that don't look at it that way, and they don't have great ethics, and they don't do things for like inner stuff, which in my opinion can take that power away from you, because you can't keep abusing a system and getting away with it. You know what I mean? Anyway, what did I say about bankrupt? I told y'all. This person has nothing. Rejected. They either just got rejected to like buy a house, or they got rejected for something. It could have even been a relationship. I don't know. Take it however it resonates, but I am not. I am so sorry. There's too many energies here. I am leaning more towards feminine, but I'm also seeing for some people it's a masculine energy. It really is just dependent on your own life path. Whatever resonates with you, my love, is probably true. All right, so we're gonna flip over to this one. I'm gonna get rid of that first. Literally, there is room for everyone. I never really understood, especially when it comes to spirituality. Like, why are we competing with each other? There is so much trauma to go around. We do not need to compete. But it all ties back to the patriarchy and misogyny, because everything usually does. Spirit's encouraging this collective to work with their hands to create. It could be time to create art. I am seeing like air dry clay or pottery being of importance. They're also encouraging you to start a dream journal if you don't already have one. Now, I do want to remind y'all, like, dreams are usually just your subconscious mind working through some things that you can't process in your waking life. Sometimes it's actually just as simple as what you were thinking about before you went to bed, or the kind of content that you're engaging in. 9 times out of 10, they're not that deep. Okay. And when they are that deep, you know the difference. But I personally think you have to track your dreams in order to understand that difference. We also have connect with friends, or sorry, this says spend time with friends, but on this card, they're like reading tarot, they're drinking tea, they're eating sweet treats, creating some art. There could be something about like minded souls coming in for this collective. We also have burning bowl ritual, which is just basically where you let go of some stuff. I would recommend doing research onto how to do that yourself, which is interesting because normally I do explain the process. If you've ever had a personal reading with me and that card's come out, you already know that I explain how to do it. But there's a reason I'm hearing not to share that on here. So I feel like some of you need to look into a burning bowl ritual. And if you have had a personal reading with me before and that card has come through, I recommend taking my advice in that reading and doing the process I explained. We also have intuition. Some of your intuition is heightening. It's like the more self-care you have, the more you spend with time with yourself, the more you reconnect with you, the more your intuition goes back up. We also have massage. This could be treating yourself to one. It could be doing one for yourself. Take it how it resonates. We also have look for fairies. Now, I do like to remind my clients when this comes up in personal readings, this energy is trickster. Okay, fairies love to play tricks. So just keep that in mind if you choose to work with them. Something about a walk in the forest and like seeing a tree. I'm seeing like, do you ever see those trees that have like the eye shapes on their branches? There's something about that. You're gonna see one, is what I'm hearing. Excuse me. We also have clean your space. This is not spirit saying you're dirty or anything. It's just a gentle reminder that energy can linger. And the more you cleanse, the more you clean, the more clear your field will be. We also have hydrate, making sure that you're drinking lots of water. That actually is going to help to open up your third eye as well. And then we have rest. Making sure that you're taking care of you is priority number uno. Bottom of the deck, we do have family. Spending a little bit more quality time with your family could be important. Whenever I see this particular card's imagery, it always gives me an energy of like mother-daughter vibes. So perhaps there's something about spending a little bit more time or connecting a little bit more with your mom, or a feminine energy in your lineage, whether that's your grandmother, your sister, your aunt, whatever. Anyway, that's what I have today. Do we have any questions? Then fairies keep coming up. Regular $14.99 for $5. That's a really good deal. My ADHD doesn't let me do shit like that. I've tried. I also bought one from Michael's a long time ago, and I still have it. I've added like 2 dreams. I just started keeping track of them in my notes app. It's just the best way for me to do it. I also don't track my dreams anymore, though I had a really, really, really weird one the other day. What does it mean exactly to look for fairies or connect with them? I think that's different for each individual person. Personally, I don't work with them because they are tricksters and I have enough of that nonsense in my life. Um, but I know that like people will create like little gardens, like little spaces in their gardens for fairies. They'll buy like little stuff for them. I would just do some research, baby. TikTok is what I'm seeing in my mind's eye. So like maybe looking up connection with fairies and like seeing if you can find any creator that you resonate with and maybe following that path. But again, please remember they are tricksters. Do we have any other questions? Also, why did I just see something about Kate Bush? Specifically, that one song that was in Stranger Things, which I honestly can't listen to anymore because of that one season of Stranger Things. It was too much. Thank you. It's been coming up for at least a month now. You should look it up. Running up that hill. That's true. That is what it's called. I can't listen to it anymore, man. Stranger Things kind of ruined it. It was so overplayed in that season. Funny, as soon as you said her name, it popped up for me. That's fair. I immediately, like, whenever I hear her name now, I immediately just think of that season of Stranger Things. You like little gardens and put crystals out for them by my bees. That makes sense. I've never worked with them. I've always been pulled to fairies. Like, as a kid, I used to, like, play with them and stuff, but as an adult, I don't know, I've just seen so much lore about them. And, like, also, when you've seen a fairy's true face, I think it changes you. I've seen a YouTube video of history of fairies, and I think it's good to learn everything you can so you know everything there is on them. I agree. Tell me why I think some people mistake elemental spirits for fairies. I totally agree with that as well. Because, like, I'm not saying that fairies are evil, okay? Like, I don't think they're evil, but their faces are fucking terrifying. And I, too, have done some research into them because one of the apartments that I lived in Wolfville, which is like a really small hole in the wall part of Nova Scotia, it was right on the water, like on the ocean. And I know for a fact that that house had fairies and a connection to fairies all around the space. So I started doing research into them. And did you know they actually hate being called the Fae? Like they hate it. Um, Elemental spirits are basically spirits of the elements. And I personally think that you are correct. I think your name is like Lulu the Goose _2. I think that's correct assumption. A lot of people are connecting with like a water spirit or a fire spirit or an earth spirit or whatever. And they're thinking that they're connecting with a fairy, but the reality is it's just an element. Everything is an energy, y'all. Which, if you think about it, everything holds energy, which means everything has spirit. True. I had the strongest connection to element spirits in that same apartment in Wolfville. Honestly, that apartment in Wolfville is where I woke up spiritually. So like my spiritual ascension started during that time frame, and I was in this like beautiful, like super old fucking apartment. Like my apartment was probably built in like the 1800s, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look up the history. I know that it was a historic landmark in the town, and I know that it had been a part of the town's history since the town was built. So, like, because of how old it was, there was a lot of spirit activity in it. Let me tell you. Which, in hindsight, was kind of beautiful as someone opening up to their spirituality and divination. I had a meditation process once that I've actually never shared with y'all, but I'm going to share it now. It was a long time ago. This was like 2020, 2021. Okay, it was probably 2020 actually, because it wasn't long after my pretty brutal breakup. And I had just moved into the apartment and I had just started kind of like dabbling into spirituality and tarot and meditation. And I went and I did a meditation. And I like to lay down when I'm meditating. I am just one of those believers that like your body is going to do the work for you, even if you fall asleep. So I was laying down, meditating, doing my deep breathing, and I kid you not, a bright green dragon, kind of like the one from Spirited Away, like the shape of it, literally flew from across my fucking bedroom and right into my third eye. It was the craziest spiritual experience I have ever had in my adult life. So cool, love. I love haunted places. I do too, but I feel like that comes with the territory of being witchy. Hello. Anyway, y'all, I need to go ground myself. And I don't know what I'm going to do that yet. It was so insane. It was the craziest. It was before I even read tarot professionally, right? Like, I had just woken up. Like, I was genuinely a baby witch. It was the coolest thing I have ever experienced in my entire life. And, like, at that time, I don't even think I had seen that movie. My friend, no, we're not friends now, but, like, one of my old friends introduced me to that movie probably 2 years later. And when I was watching it, I was like, oh my God. I hate being targeted just because it is a pinnacle of light and they're attracted when you are awakened. Yeah, man, I had to like hella ward that apartment because like I had like freshly awoken, so I was so vulnerable. I honestly think that's part of why that dragon went through my third eye because like it was a protection omen. And then like a handful of years later, I got a dragon tattooed on me. I love dragons. Love it. For me, the craziest experience seems to be non physical, like head tingling after, but I'm also new on my journey. Man, I was like very beginning stages, so I was probably a lot more open at that time. And like I don't I was in a very meditative state. So like in order to get to that position, I think it takes like you practicing your meditation. Like at that point I had been consistently meditating for probably almost 3 months, give or take. It was a crazy experience though. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna go ground myself somehow. I don't know what that looks like yet, but wish me luck. Also, wish me luck on the rest of my ADHD journey. Fingers crossed that tomorrow's not as bad because we have our Patreon collective reading. For those of you that are subscribed to Patreon, we will still be doing our collective reading tomorrow. For those of you that aren't subscribed to my Patreon, I do recommend you join because it's a fun place and you also get access to a exclusive Discord server that I'm pretty active in. And also, I don't know, I'm just kind of biased. I love our spiritual community over there. But anywho, I love y'all. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. We will be doing another stream on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as per usual. And I will see y'all then. Hopefully, my ADHD will be better at that point too. But anyway, I love our Discord. See, yeah, it's a well loved space. For you, you focus on a white blank space. I'm unsure of what we're talking about. But I feel like all of you are answering whoever asked. Wait, how do you meditate with ADHD? It takes practice and time, honestly. A lot of practice and time. But one of the things that I'm noticing from being on medication now versus not being medicated for a long time, I truly became so good at masking that like I actually feel like I'm worse with my symptoms on my medication currently. Like non-medicated me was much more grounded, much more, focused. Did I get scattered? Did I have ADHD moments? For fucking sure. But like I was pretty good at bringing myself back. Whereas like so far medicated Avery is not going so well, but it's only day 2, so we'll see what happens. I have seen a lot of people saying that their personality disappeared. So far that hasn't happened to me, thankfully, but um I'm hoping that that doesn't happen in the future because that will be really quick. I'll get off them. That's half why I don't like medication. My antidepressants did that. My antidepressants made me hate myself and hate my life, but they also stopped me from killing myself. So I guess catch 22, right? That was dark. Anyway, y'all, I love you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow that are on Patreon, and those of you that aren't but are gonna watch the stream on Thursday, I'll see you then.